Welcome to Squadron Scale Workshop. My name is Brett Green, and today we're going to take a look at Revell's 1/72nd scale Halifax B.III bomber. British military aircraft doctrine of the 1930s dictated that there should be fighting bombers, light aircraft, single and twin engine, that could fight their way into enemy territory, deliver their bomb load, and then return without the need of a fighter escort. In the face of practical, well-coordinated flak defence though, and the latest generation of German fighter aircraft, the Messerschmitt Bf-109 and Bf-110, the doctrine proved to be a complete disaster. The aircraft, Fairey Battles and Bristol Blenheims were simply blown out of the sky. The only real glimmer of hope in the first 18 months of the war for Bomber Command was the Vickers Wellington, which could absorb a huge amount of punishment and started to be quite effective when it was sent out on night operations. But the bomb load was very limited, and it was more suited to tactical bombing rather than strategic bombing. It wasn't until 1941 that the first of the three British four-engine heavy bombers entered service. It was the short Stirling, short in description as well as short being the aircraft manufacturer. It was actually designed so that the wingspan would fit within a standard RAF hangar, and what that meant was that it wasn't really capable of operating at high enough altitudes to be an effective heavy bomber. Fortunately, within months, the first of the Halifax bombers came into service. The Halifax Mark I and Mark II were powered by 4 Rolls-Royce Merlin engines after an aborted attempt to run Rolls-Royce Vultures in them. The Merlins were adequate as far as performance was concerned. The aircraft could fly at high altitude, and it was quite successful in that early to mid-war bomber role and also maritime patrol role. In 1943, the Halifax was matched up with 4 Bristol Hercules engines, and this proved to be the really ultimate Halifax, the B.III. It entered service at the beginning of 1944, and alongside the Avro Lancaster really delivered a massive bomb load to the heart of the Reich on a nightly basis. It's hard to believe that it's more than 4 years since Revell initially released their B.Mark I and B.Mark II Halifax kit. In a lot of ways, it was a very nice kit. It had surface detail that was state-of-the-art, lovely crisp, fine, engraved panel lines. The interior detail was excellent. They had some of the best clear parts that I'd ever seen. There were many options as well for the Mark I and Mark II. But it was deeply flawed in a number of important departments, and they mostly revolved around the engine nacelles. In summary, they were just too wide, and that led to a number of other problems with the front of the engine nacelles being too wide, the intakes being too large, the propeller spinner then being too large a diameter, and the propeller blades not being a particularly good shape either. Also, the main wheels, and in particular the tail wheels, were quite undersized. So it was with a lot of interest that I received the B.III recently, and I thought we'll take a bit of a more detailed look in the box right now. Revell's Halifax B.III is in a typical side opening box. The plastic parts are moulded in a light green-grey plastic, and there are 230 parts in grey plastic with another 49 in clear, although many of these parts are not used. They're optional parts that are related actually to the B.Mark I and Mark II kit. Let's take a more detailed look at the sprues. The fuselage halves are the same as that supplied in the Mark 1, Mark 2 kit. Surface detail is lovely, crisp and fine. The inside features structural detail in the cockpit areas. 2 stout wing spars are mounted to the bottom of the cockpit floor. New wings are supplied, complete with the new rounded wingtips. This is the top of the wing. New engine nacelles. And more engine detail, including the cowl rings and the engines. Here's a closer view of the Hercules engines. The exhausts are really nice too. 2 of the 4 propellers. And the same old wheels are included. These really would be best replaced with something bigger. Detailed parts including bomb racks and bombs. And the clear parts are really well done. You'll find yourself with lots of spare turrets once you finish this project. Markings are supplied for 2 aircraft. So there we have it. Revell's 1/72 scale Handley-Page Halifax B.III. The Mark III was the definitive version of the Halifax, and I think this is the definitive version of Revell's Halifax family so far. It addresses most of the nacelle issues that were present in the Merlin engine Mark 1 and Mark 2 boxing. I'm still not completely convinced about the diameter of the opening for the engine nacelles, and the wheels are still too small. They will benefit from being replaced. But in virtually every other respect, this is a lovely kit. We have state-of-the-art recessed surface textures. We have a very high level of interior detail and lots of useful options as well. This one goes to somewhere near the top of my 2-build kit pile, which unfortunately is getting bigger and bigger these days with the number of fantastic releases that we're seeing. Well, thank you for joining us again on Squadron Scale Workshop. Until next time, it's bye for now.